in a little while they're probably going to give her a blood transfusion because she did lose some blood, and so it's making her feel weak. She's been such a trooper and showed a lot of courage and a lot of grace under a lot of distress. It was really amazing to be here and to be with her.
I feel like I'm reliving it.
Now she's resting.
So yeah, that's me for like 2 days. Hello everyone, this is Vicky. Welcome back to my channel. So today marks 11 months post-op for me. I feel like in the beginning, I always wanted time to go by so fast, but now that I'm at 11 months mark, I'm kind of like holding on to it a little bit, you know? It's just like, this is the first year after SRS, like I'm trying to hold on to every moment. This past 11 months has taught me so much about myself, about my body. And yeah, it just feels really special for me. I feel like I'm clinging on to it, but at the same time I have to let it go. You know, I have to move on to the next chapter. Speaking of moving on to the next chapter, I couldn't have done it without all of you. All of your support you have poured into the comment section, have let me know from the beginning, DM me, sending me good wishes. It meant so much. Without further said, I wanted to do something really special, which is reacting to basically my first official video on this channel, which is my surgery vlog. I think a while ago I had thought about it. I said that I would do it in the 1 year mark, but you know, 11 months is 1 month different. I thought we'll just jump into it, rip up the band-aid. Let's do it. Today we're gonna react to my surgery vlog together. It's gonna be a roller coaster. I already feel it. I haven't seen it since I posted. But before we go on, if you're a new subscriber here, thank you so much for joining the family. If you are an OG, returning subscriber, thank you so much. Couldn't have done it without you. If you want to see more content from me, please follow me on Instagram at I'm Vicky Lee, and also my backup account at Kiki with Vicky. Okay, so let's get to it. I just got here, no makeup, nothing on, they don't allow it. My surgery is within an hour. And there's my boyfriend running. First of all, I want to get this out of the way. A lot of you have asked me about, you know, what to prepare for it. I've done everything I could. I prepared for everything. The anxiety and the anticipation about the surgery. I thought about canceling the surgery the day before. So even though that I put up this facade that I'm confident that I got it in the bag, there are moments that very, very human of me to feel insecure, self-doubt, and yeah, just almost feel like I can't do it. But you know, I'm glad that I pushed through. As you can see also is that I got my surgery during the pandemic. When they finally confirmed the surgery, they told me that I would have to go to the hospital by myself. I would stay there by myself. I would only deal with the nurses. But I'm very, very lucky and happy that by the time my surgery come around, they have kind of eased it up a little bit. They allow me to bring my boyfriend to be there, and they also allow 1 visitor a day, so. Always. Oh, the old intro. I'm excited, but then I'm so excited. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm feeling everything. Yeah, I did. As you see, I'm like, my hand was so shaky. Just got a minute in, and I'm waiting. It was really strange when I was asked to have someone in my life that could make the decision if something happened, if it's a life or death situation, and also for the donor, if I was an organ donor. That was strange. So when I signed this paper, I really didn't even think through about it. Like, I think it's just like the nervousness and everything. I sat there and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. It's fine. I'm just signing paper I'm trusting the doctors and the surgeons with my life, whatever. I sat there and I thought about it, and then I don't know, for some reason I told my boyfriend, I was like, listen, I just signed it basically like if something happened to me, they don't have to bring me back or something like that. And saying it out loud, it just made me feel so stupid. I was just like, oh, why did I do that? And my boyfriend, he's an empath. He sat there and he started crying. He was like, what are you doing? What do you mean? I'm here with you and now you're like basically saying you don't care about your life if something happened. What about the people around you, the people that love you and support you? And I was just like, oh, why did I do that? So I called the nurse to come back and give me the paper. And then I sign it. I say that like, okay, like if something happened to me, please try your hardest to bring me back. It is super clean, which makes me feel great. I hate dirty places.
Serving you hospital bed gown.
I'm just always glad that I'm able to make fun of myself and like find humor in things. It helped me ease up during very, very tense moments.
So I have to brush my teeth.
So I don't know if you guys watch the videos in preparation for this. 24 hours before, you cannot drink water, brush your teeth, eat anything solid, eat anything at all actually. You can't put on makeup, no sunscreen, nothing. You can see like spot from my breakout and stuff because 6 weeks before your surgery, you have to stop taking estrogen. And me not taking the estrogen, the hormone blockers, and then wearing the mask on top of that, everything just reacting. I kind of like fall into puberty again where I'm just like, my skin just break out. And as you can see, I didn't even care about my eyebrows. Like they're all over the place. I was in a very dark moment, even though it didn't seem like it, but I was.
Okay, you have to have back out there to finish my interview. My nurse is so sweet. She brought me a blanket and it was like warm. Check out my socks.
I still have those socks. I kept it as a souvenir because I love them. I don't wear socks at home, but like those socks are like so comfortable and they have those little things to like make you not slip. I love them. I kept like 2 pairs.
I need these at home. Hey. She said it's gonna be done by a robot, so.
My dad's first surgery was done by a robot. Doctor was extremely intelligent.
So, based on robot standard, I will have a perfect pussy.
I predicted it. I do have a really good, you know. It makes me feel really emotional sitting here and like see my boyfriend there because I don't share a lot of my personal relationship just because it's something that I like to keep for myself. It's not like I'm hiding my relationship at all. It's just, you know, certain thing I want to keep for myself. But during that time, I feel I'm getting emotional already. During that time, my boyfriend, he was going through a really, really difficult time. His dad, who I love so much, was battling cancer, and he told you. It's gonna be like this a lot during this video, just FYI. I asked my boyfriend before because he was taking care of his dad who's, you know, battling cancer and stuff, and I told him, I was like, maybe I will hold on for my surgery because he wants to be there for me, he wants to support me, and I just don't feel like spreading him too thin with, you know, him going back and forth and taking care of his dad and taking care of me and all of that. So I asked him, I was like, you know, maybe it's not meant for now, COVID and stuff, and your dad is dealing with cancer, maybe I'll just wait out. And I remember he told me, he said, since I've known you, you know, this is what you wanted. And there's no perfect moment, which, you know, I take that into heart, and that's what I tell people now when they're doubting about getting SRS. I was like, there's really no perfect moment, he told me. He said, you have to go get what you want. Don't let what I have going on now be a burden for you not to get what you want. You know, he's just a very, very supportive person. And I told him, I was like, you know, I had everything planned out. I asked my friend Isabel, who's happened to be trans, to take care of me, and I felt very, very comfortable with her. And she lives very, very nearby. He insisted that he wants to be there for me. I'm so grateful. Watching it just make my love for him more intensify, because those are moments that I'm at my weakest and he was there for me. That's the picture that you guys see. So.
Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. I mean, I get injection every 2 weeks.
For me, blood tests and stuff is not really a big deal because, you know, I choose to have my HRT injection way, so it didn't bother me. I think it's like your mental state, like, scare you more than the actual thing.
This is not bad. See you in the next chapter.
So yeah, my surgery, I thought it was gonna be longer. I thought the surgery, someone told me once the surgery was like 12 hours. But it took 3 hours. I went in, I remember pulling into the surgery room. It's like a really bad episode of like Nip Tuck. And you just go in, there's like 5-6 people around, and then there's an anesthesia doctor. I don't know what the correct term is, but I remember he telling me, he was like, okay, we're gonna do this, you ready? So where I got my blood draw is where he injected the anesthesia, and I went in, I saw Dr. Rachel Bluebon, I saw Dr. Zhao, whom I met before, so I felt a little bit more at ease. The room was extremely cold, very, very clean. Everything around was like metal. It's kind of like make you scared a little bit. And then I remember the anesthesia doctor was like, okay, let's do this. He was like, you feel anything? And I remember telling him, I was like, oh, I don't feel anything yet. I remember he's telling me, saying, okay, count sheep or numbers or whatever. I was like, 1, 2, and then I was out. I think the biggest scare for me was getting the surgery, but then you're not there. You're not participated in it. It's somebody else's work. Like, you out of it completely. I told my boyfriend to go home. He sat there and waited. He's the biggest sweetheart. So this is the next day already. I think I woke up, I looked at the clock and it was like 8, 9 o'clock. That's when I woke up because they moved me into a waiting room when it's just like drapes and then other patients and stuff. And I woke up and I felt so out of it. I felt my throat was like closing up. I felt like I needed water and I didn't have a mask on, so I was scared. So the first thing I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I don't have my mask on. What's going on? And I overheard one of the nurses said something like, oh, what happened to her mask? And then the other one answered saying that like, I think she ripped her mask off. Okay, put another mask on me, I don't know. This I found later on that when I kind of woke up the first time for like a couple seconds, they asked me that my boyfriend was outside waiting if he could come see me. And I apparently said no. I had surgery around 11 o'clock. That's like 8, 9 o'clock. So he waited 8, 9 hours outside the waiting room. And just make me feel really bad. Apparently I turned him down twice and then he really insisted. I woke up and asked for water. He was in the room and he was like holding my hand and asking me if I'm okay and stuff. And I kind of like regained my consciousness just a little bit. And I remember I kept asking for water. They brought me like 3 cups and the nurse kind of like get a little bothered by it, which I don't know why. I'm fucking thirsty. They moved me into my own room and that's when my boyfriend said goodbye. He's come back tomorrow or whatever. I was moved into the room by myself, which I was so happy. I didn't feel that region yet because everything was so numb and I was like highly sedated, and the biggest pain for me was still my back and my stomach. Also because I couldn't pass gas, it's just like the air traveling inside, you just feel really uncomfortable and I cry myself to sleep. I couldn't pass gas by myself, everything was swollen down there. I was just like, oh my God, please, like, just let me sleep. All I wanted was sleep. See how swollen my face was?
After surgery, it's only like 6 a.m.
So I said I woke up after surgery. Technically, it's not the first time I woke up after surgery. This is the next day. It's 6 a.m. I woke up and fell back into sleep for the whole day. And this is the second, technically, yeah, the second day that I was there. Everything was super clean. You get that little menu right there that you can put in your food, watch movies, all of that. It was great. It was, like I said, I just love how clean it was. It made me feel so at ease. I can't imagine like after all of that and stay in some place dirty, you know?
Today is the second day. I had my surgery yesterday, and I think with the second I went into the surgery room and had my anesthesia in, I just passed out. By the time I woke up, I remember my bladder was so heavy and my lower back hurt so much. Yeah. With the catheter in,
I hate the catheter.
Press against my bladder, and it just feels like you're constipated and you want to pee, but you feel like nothing coming out even though that it does. This is my catheter. Basically where the pee goes. And I'm feeling a little bit tight at the bladder, so I think, yeah. This is my arm. This is my other arm. The great thing about it is nurses and doctors go in and check on me every hour. So
yeah, every hour in and out, nurses giving me painkillers, giving me this, giving me that. It's just like non-stop.
I can't wait to take estrogen again so then all my pimples can go away.
Clean now.
Oh, let me show you the room. So this is my room. That's the front door. That's the bathroom. It's really nice. Screen. And I have the best view.
Yeah, great.
That's the Empire State Building.
Especially at
Last
night.
night when I woke up around 1 o'clock, it was like purple and orange. It was beautiful.
My two favorite colors.
I'm so in and out of it. I can't eat anything. You know, they encourage me to eat. I just had some fruits and orange juice. My throat really hurts.
You just don't have an appetite for thing. The only thing that I was able to like consume in there was coconut water, which I love. So I drank tons of coconut water.
But yeah, I feel like I'm not 100% right now, but I'll be fine. Okay, I'll catch up with you guys later. I haven't eaten at all. I had some fruit yesterday and I felt so nauseous after. I felt nauseous. I got a gas pain that was really bad, and my lower back started to hurt again.
So one of the tips that I've learned, if you can pass gas, trying to lay on your left side, like, you know, this way. So apparently something in there just help, like makes it go easier. But it's also hard because you lay like this, like you can't move unless somebody help you, and like the stomach was so bloated, and with the catheter, everything like plugged inside, you just feel really, I don't know, like incapable of doing a lot of things by yourself. And I was in there, I see the nurses once every hour, and the thing I could do for myself is like reach for the phone, and that's it.
The nurse, she was so nice, like she helped me adjust my position even though it was painful. And I asked her for an Oxycontin, and that helped me sleep through the night, so that's a lot better. They just checked in on me. The great thing about this hospital, the staff was so nice, like every hour they have someone to come in and check on me.
The nurses were nice.
I just talked to my surgeon right now, and he said the numbers look good. It's part of the recovery process.
Oh, so they do come in I think once a day to check on you early in the morning. Dr. Rachel Bluebon and Dr. Zhao, they come in at like 6 a.m. which like wakes you up and you're like, oh, I just want to sleep. So they come in, they trying to give you information, which I'm like, how am I like supposed to obtain all of this right now? I'm on painkillers, I just woke up, I'm in pain. Yeah, but they're doing their job.
They're gonna show me how to sit today.
3 days. Took me 3 days to sit. Yeah, I guess I just have a slower pace than everybody else.
Yeah, my bladder feels better just for the first couple days. The first 2 days, it's just my bladder. I just felt I couldn't pee, but I actually was peeing.
Yeah.
It's just going through the catheter.
It feels really weird because you feel like, oh my god, I need to pee. You know how like you hold in your pee? It feels like that, but then pee was coming out. But since you don't see it coming out of you directly, your mind makes you think that you're not peeing, but you are, so.
Yeah. I feel so bad about wasting food. I keep bringing in breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Shout out to the lunch lady, which I saw every single day. She was the sweetest person in there. Coming in, very understanding, helped me and everything, and you know, bringing in food, trying to help me with the food and stuff, and she was so sweet. And the first 3 days I wasted because they bring in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're supposed to do it on the computer thing, but if you don't, they just bring in automatically what good for you. And I wasted all that food and I just feel terrible. My parents are cooks, so I don't waste food.
I haven't eaten anything. Yeah, I'm on so much medication. Like they gave me laxative, Tylenol, Advil, Oxycontin, and blood clot, blood thinner. They gave me shot.
Oh, speaking of shot, so the second day I was waking up. Apparently, I think one of the surgeons who was stitching me up, they accidentally poked themselves. So they came in and got my blood test and did that person's blood test, and both came out negative. They just want to make sure I don't have any diseases and stuff, so.
It's just a lot of medication. I've never been on this much medication, so I'm so out of it.
Yeah.
Keep you guys posted.
I was just drinking and that's it. That's the only thing that I do. I was drinking and oh, Claudia, she was so sweet. Very helpful, very understanding. It took me 20 to 30 minutes to like finally get in that position, like trying to sit up, and she was so patient. She stood there, helped me with everything, helped me adjust. She's little, but she's strong. She was like help carry my body. Yeah. Once you set up in that position, you just feel dizzy because you were laying in that position for like 3-4 days, and she was so sweet.
That's the toughest part. Right?
They just make me sit, and my back hurts so much.
Yeah. And the chair is super stiff and it cannot recline, so you forced to sit up like this, and you just like had your surgery. So imagine the whole time I was using my shoulders to sit up because I didn't want to, there's a gouge and everything down there. So if you use just a little bit of pressure, you feel everything. And I was like, they make me sit there for 30 minutes and the whole time I was like this.
I just noticed there's a blood stain.
So someone corrected me, said that those are not blood stain. It's the medicine that they use to like clean you up after. But they stain you for a little bit. It's like turmeric.
From my surgery. See it? That's how much blood that was all over me. Watching Coco.
Coco helped me through that whole thing. I cry a lot because of that movie too, but they have good movie choices.
Look at the view.
Saw how heavy I was breathing? Because, yeah. I love it. You can close and open the drapes like that. So the day 4, I felt a little bit more normal.
When I sit up, they raise like the
You can hear it in my voice too.
I have to lower it a little bit. because I don't know why there's so much tension on my vagina.
It's true.
Yeah. What do I want? Okay. Alright. Place order. Confirm. Ordering. Done.
I love that. I wish I had that at home. I can just order
I
it.
had a long conversation with my mom yesterday. You know, she just hates to see what I have to go through. But she also respected me for going after what I want. It's not pretty, it's not easy. For me, I've always done it, what I wanted. I wanted to move to New York when I was 21. I did it with no help or anything, no one that I knew. And I was homeless. I slept on people's couches. I was lucky to meet really, really generous people who took care of me and helped me out. And when I checked into the hospital for the surgery, I remember having the same feeling as I was taking that flight to New York, a one-way flight to New York. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is it. I felt the anxiety, I felt nervous, I felt excitement, and I did it. I was pretty calm. I would expected myself to cry just because I'm overly emotional, but I didn't. And when I was waiting outside the surgery room, the anesthesia doctor was asking me if I'm ready, and I was like, yeah, I am. When I got into the room, there's like 10 people there. So I just lay down, undressed myself, they started plugging things in, and the anesthesia doctor asked me if I felt anything yet, because he already gave me, you know, some of the good stuff. And I was like, no, I don't feel anything yet. And then he was like, okay, we just have to up the doses. And within 5 seconds, I was out. And I woke up in the recovery room. So, yeah. I remember kept telling people that I needed to pee.
Yeah. So day 4 is when I started to regain some of my consciousness. That's what I'm telling you, like early in this video. Like, I'm telling you everything that's happened.
My bladder and the catheter just kept pushing against each other, so my pee wouldn't come out, and I felt like my stomach was so bloated.
Yeah, it's like a strange feeling.
I'm getting better each day, but it's a slow process, and when I signed up for it, part of the package, and I know I'm gonna be fine. I don't want to tell you all of this to make you feel discouraged if this is what you feel like you want. I want to tell you the truth because it's important to share. All of this is not just a pretty post-op pictures or anything like that. This is the reality of getting this surgery.
And I get a lot of comments telling me this is what I really appreciated. Because when the moment I was getting this surgery, there was no resources for me out there to see the real true story about SRS. Everything that we've seen is like the person getting the SRS surgery, and then months later, they're like running down the street super happy. Like, there's little missing parts in between, and I was glad to be able to share it. Like, I was able to document that part of the journey for you guys. It's tough, you know. I have very, very good support system, and every single day I was like this close to lose it. And that conversation that I mentioned with my mom really, really helped me. It's like I never wanted to make it seem like I needed her permission or anything like that. You know, I told her because out of respect, because I want her to know what I'm doing, my next step. I don't need nobody's validation. I don't need nobody's approval, but I need them to know that I'm doing it. But yeah, you know, she was supportive, but like any other parents, she was worried because I never had any surgery my whole life, and then all of a sudden this is a big major one. So yeah, she's doing what every mom would do. Yeah.
There's a lot going into it mentally, emotionally, physically. It's training.
Yeah.
I'm a very active person, but for the last couple of days, I didn't even want to move. I didn't want to like scooch over or anything.
And I mentioned it again multiple times on this channel. I was very, very healthy. I was doing 4:30. I was running a lot every day. I woke up at 6 and I started running. And you know, I had a healthy diet and I prepared everything that I could, mentally, physically, emotionally. I prepared for this, and nothing that I could do to prepare me for what I went through or about to go through. So like I said, you can sit here and plan everything out perfectly, but when it happens, it happens. You just have to learn how to cope with it, you know? So don't let your anxiety and anticipation for the surgery stop you from getting it. Go through with it if it feels right for you, if this is really what you want, you know? Everything else, we're gonna learn how to do it after. I'm still coping, I'm still learning.
I used to run, and they have to have these like leg massagers. Let me show you.
Yeah, so
they have to have these leg massagers,
which felt
on
nice.
my legs all night long to prevent the blood clots.
Yeah, because you laying in bed for, I was there for like 3-4 days, so the whole time they have to like massaging it. It felt great. I loved it. I love getting like leg massages, and the whole time they were just doing it so this way, you know, everything like flow through correctly. So yeah.
And my arms are just so many shots that
Yeah.
they did. Sure.
Look at how many shots that is. Yeah, they just come in
They
every
gave
day,
me so many shots on this arm,
and the other one
and
too.
also a couple shots on this arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the blood thinner, because I think when I'm laying like this, they need it to flow. Like what else can I tell you? Oh, the first day too, I definitely had a moment where I was thinking to myself, like, what have I done?
Yeah, it's a very real feelings. You just wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What am I putting myself into? So yeah, it's like kind of like a moment of disbelief when something you wanted for so long all of a sudden happened for you.
I think it just depends, and everything is just emotionally trauma. I'm just like, oh my god, what did I do? What have I done? But I thought about it, I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. This is what I wanted. I can do this. And I make peace with it. But yeah, I don't know about you or whoever watching this. For me, there was moments that I felt like I regretted what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I was emotionally strong enough to overcome that thought and not put myself into a depression thinking that like I fucked myself up. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I know a year from now I'm gonna be super happy. So yeah.
Happier.
And you will too. I know this is not the prettiest pictures that I'm showing, but it's part of our journey. Anyways, I'm gonna go rest. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
I love coconut water, so. The food was not bad. You expect hospital food to be like airplane food, but it's good. Yeah, besides coconut water, I drank a lot of hot chocolate too. It felt great, it felt cozy. You sit up a little bit, you watch it, you eat ice cream,
I seriously just have a new appreciation for chicken noodle soup. I never liked it before. It feels like such a basic food, but it tastes amazing. It's funny because my parents were chefs when I was growing up, and I had so much chicken, and I feel like chicken is just such like the most basic meat. So every time I go out, I never order anything chicken. I always get beef, steak, seafood, duck, or any kind of exotic meat. And this whole recovery thing, I have a new respect for chicken. It's a simple chicken noodle soup, but it tastes amazing. I look forward to it every single meal.
Their chicken noodle soup is really good though. I loved it. I eat it like 3 times a day.
Everyone who knows me knows I love Bulbasaur, and this is my favorite part in the movie.
Speaking of Bulbasaur, my nephew, my birthday's coming up. He's giving me a little Bulbasaur AirPod. Isn't this the cutest thing? I loved it. This is so cute. Makes me so happy. I'm such a kid at heart that when I see Bulbasaur, I'm like losing my shit. Look at that. Can it heal me too?
I've never been so happy to have a little pot of mac and cheese. Got myself ice cream.
Good portion too, by the way.
Because I don't care. And I'm watching The Office. Bon appetit.
So this is day 5. I felt, as you can see, a lot better. Day 5, the next day, the next morning is when I'm supposed to be discharged. Keep that in mind.
I'm gonna eat. Tomorrow's a big day, so the nurse already came in and told me what I should expect tomorrow. They came with varying gifts, wedge pillows and dilators and all of it.
Which
so
I still have.
I'm excited to learn tomorrow and then see what I can do
Feels
to
good.
make my recovery heal faster.
It makes me come in and give him a post-it every time.
So yeah, I'm gonna have dinner now and hopefully I can get rest and I can be ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going home. I'm excited. I cannot wait to upload this video for you guys because I think it will be helpful. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my dinner now.
I was so excited. So that's my first attempt to stand on my own. And I couldn't, like the whole time, your legs were very shaky, you haven't used it. So to be able to stand up, it was hard. But when I started to, I felt very nauseous. I felt my back, it couldn't like straighten up. It just like this, and you kind of like hunch over. And you can see the bruise around the legs area. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, you just feel like you want to throw up. That was hard. I still remember how it felt. That was not good. I wouldn't recommend you guys doing that. If you do that, make sure people are around, because if I fell, I could really hurt myself. So the nurse came in, which is really great. Because I haven't able to have any bowel movement for 5 days, standing up kind of adjusted that, and it made me feel like I needed to use the bathroom right away, because every single day they feed you Miralax, which is like laxative, and I couldn't go. So when I stood up, I remember the nurse came in just in the perfect time. I was like, help me. Like, so I had the catheter, I had the backup, you know, the IV or whatever, and we went into the bathroom and I sat there and she was holding my hand and helped me set down the toilet, because, you know, I was like, I'm so sorry, but like, I have to go. You know, after this surgery too, like, I feel like now I really have no shame at all. So it happened. It's like one of my biggest fear is to do that in front of someone, and I had to. See, and this is a not pretty picture of SRS surgery that no one talks about.
My nurse just pulled the catheter out.
Yeah, that's another thing that was not cute. After I used number 2 on her, I feel like she has every right to like pull out that catheter as aggressive as possible, but I don't think she meant it. It was just painful.
Oh my gosh. She told me to be prepared for it, but nothing could have prepared me for that.
Nope.
So she inflated thing is basically where you pee and where I have been peeing into the bags, but yeah, that was painful. And I'm very good on pain tolerance, but that was pushing it.
Yeah.
I feel fine now, but tomorrow they're gonna take out the dressing again, which is the big part that inside my vagina is right now. They told me to be prepared for that one too. It's gonna be more painful than this one. But right now, I wanna go to bed. Oh, by the way, about the pay too. So right now, I have 6 to 8 hours to pee a certain amount of pee, and also they will check my stomach on my bladder to see how much pee left in there. Then they would decide whether or not to put in the catheter again.
Which I was like, not happening. I'm gonna make sure it happened. So they gave you like a bag like this big. You have a couple hours to basically fill it up. And if you don't, that means that your bladder, you cannot use your bladder the correct way. Then they would have to put the catheter back in. And I was like, there is no way you're doing that to me. I am going to pee. So I was like drinking water back and forth just like so many times. I was like, give me those 2 hours, I will make sure it happened. At this moment too, I remember I was very determined. I was like, I'm going home tomorrow. You give me a challenge with the pee test, I'm doing it. I got up by myself multiple times at night to do it. So I was like ready and prepared. It would change.
I hope I pass the test. I'm drinking a lot of water right now. So I hope I can do it right. But yeah, I don't want a catheter in anymore. I feel so much better without it. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm gonna try to get some sleep. Tomorrow's gonna be a long day. Watching The Office, just let it play in the background. It makes me feel a little bit like home. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. I'm gonna go to bed now. Can't wait. My second attempt in peeing. I definitely feel like I can do it a little bit more.
It's weird too, because when you pee, you feel like you're pushing it, but it's like dripping, like 1 or 2 drops. As soon as you lay down, you need to pee again. And this cycle and how I felt lasted for about 6 months. Only kind of recently that I don't feel it anymore. Yeah, for the first couple months, it was very, very hard. Like at nighttime, I think I went back and forth and trying to pee for like 20 times. Sometimes you just can't empty it out completely by yourself.
It's so hard to explain because it's midnight right now and I had 2 hours before. Well, I had 2 hours until now to teach myself to pee.
Yeah.
In a new way. And
it's just very, very strange. I had like the first couple of days where I felt the need to physically pull the inside out because I looked down and I didn't see my genitalia that I was born with. Sometimes I really still feel like that. You just feel like everything is like stuffed inside and you kind of want to release it.
It's different. My mind is playing. Even my bladder was like a little bit reserved and be like, am I peeing? My bladder basically still sleeping.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah, but I have to 4 o'clock, so I have 4 more hours to fill up to a certain amount. But I think I can do it. I'm bleeding also.
Yeah, so every time I pee, this could have been a good signal for them.
I want to show you guys my view at night. Finally, I have enough energy to stand up and walk by myself. And I want to show you guys what I'm looking at night. It's beautiful. Yes. Good morning.
So this is when I'm supposed to get
So,
discharge.
Yesterday, I definitely had an episode where I'm being a dramatic queen, but I felt chills. I felt like my body was heating up. I felt like my incision was hurting. My nurse was so amazing. She came in. She took up 3 layers of blankets on me, turned down the room temperature because it was like heating up in here, opened the door and let the heat come out. And 20 minutes later, I was fine. I was sleeping like a baby, so I think it's just a mess. I was being a little bit dramatic, but I'm okay now.
They came in and they told me, my surgeon came in, she was just like, okay, you ready? They're removing the dressing. It's like some sort of clot, and they just stuffed it up just to like help, you know, absorb all the blood and stuff. And it was really long. And she just pulled out like this, and I couldn't help myself. It's like staring at a car crash. You just have to look, but then you don't want to look. And yeah, I got really emotional. I felt like everything made me feel so stuffy got released. So I cried for like 2 hours.
So, my surgeon just took out the dressing inside, and it was just really, really painful. But I did it.
It's hard for me to watch.
So, the worst part is over.
It's not the worst part.
I passed my pain test. It was a little unusual, but I passed it. And the whole night, just the anxiety of them removing this dressing, that I couldn't sleep. So, for them to remove everything, I just feel it was different for sure. But I did it. I haven't cried at all before the surgery, after the surgery, until this moment.
It was just emotional, you know.
I feel like a sigh of relief. I tried to be strong. That's why I couldn't cry, and I haven't cried at all until now.
Just FYI, crying doesn't make you weak. I don't think I worded correctly.
Now I can't stop.
Yeah, it did something to me for sure.
I'm gonna sit up and get ready now. I'll talk to you guys soon.
So yeah, I cried for a long time, and then they had my friend Isabel right there come in, and a nurse came in and she taught me how to dilate. You know, just like telling me the whole thing. So you have the option to let them dilate for you, or you do it yourself, and I opt to do it myself, because when I'm at home, guess who's gonna do it? Me. So yes, this is where we start doing it.
The canal, so a lot of it's going to be about your breathing and positional. So in the beginning, it's good to have the dilator sort of upright a bit more, so this back of the dilator pointing more towards you. If ever you feel like a lot of resistance, I'll encourage you to sort of play with the angle of the dilator. So maybe coming up more, maybe going down more, so towards your head or towards the bed.
Alright. So spread out as much as possible.
Exactly.
Flat on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Deep breathing.
Deep breathing, you've got it. So what I'd like to do now is grab the mirror and just go over anatomy and sort of talk through that. Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
And so I'm going to pull this down, and you look amazing.
The first time I heard it, it's alright. Then everybody in the hospital started saying, it's beautiful, it's amazing, all of that. I'm like, okay, at this point it sounds like bullshit because I can physically look down at it and know that it's not. My vagina looks like it went through Vietnam War, and you guys kept telling me it's beautiful. But she was just teaching me how to use the dilator, how to do dilations. She's a very, very good nurse. She's telling me every single specific thing, very, very patient.
But it's going to be like 6 weeks is when the majority of the swelling and healing is going to happen, but it's going to be like a full year really before you see final end results.
And scars you guys.
Yeah, everything's going to fade.
Well, kinda.
Some of it was done laparoscopically, you said.
So there's an incision like around the belly button. You also have a little incision here.
Yeah.
And these are just really going to heal up all on their own. There's absolutely nothing to do. So it has the dermabond on top of that incision, which is basically like a surgical glue. So that's going to, over time, sort of flake off, but nothing to do there. Everything looks great.
Yeah.
I'm going to raise your bed up a bit.
My belly button scar is still very visible.
How's Sam?
He's good.
Alright. You ready? But at the beginning, and like I said, that will gradually go down. So I'm going to have you take your hand and hold on to the dilator.
Like I said, it wasn't painful, but it's just like strange because you staring down as a new wound in a very sensitive area.
Beginning just to sort of prepare yourself and get ready. And as you're comfortable and ready, you can apply a little bit of pressure to the dilator. And you really want to check in with your body where you're holding tension and try to just let that go so that your pelvic floor muscles follow suit. Relaxing your shoulders.
Breathing is so important, and relax the shoulder. I always put tension here, but take a deep breath and relax.
When the dilator comes out, there can sometimes be blood on the dilator, sometimes little clots. That's all normal. And the bleeding is going to subside eventually, but for these first like 6 weeks, you will have some, which is why you'll also want to always have a pad on in your underwear. Vikki, you are just so incredible. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to wipe down the dilator.
Yeah,
I didn't see any freaking
I
out
freaked
more.
out.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine.
So I do just want to show you so you know what's normal. So this is absolutely normal, okay?
So she showed me how it looks like after dilation, blood, lube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can
So there
see
is
what
some
she's
bleeding, but don't be alarmed by that. And know that that's very normal.
Wow, that's a lot.
And a lot of it is lube, right? And everything also looks more on the chunk. So I'm gonna wipe from top down.
Oh, what, can I see that? Oh, that's what it is?
So
Oh,
that's
those-
a clot.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very common. So you might be seeing these things as, you know, after you dilate they can come out, after you pee sometimes those can come, so it could be from the urethra, from the vagina, but that's very normal and that's going to subside.
There's lots of blood clot.
So everything that's happening right now is
Even like 3 months ago, I still had it.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Not
that's
as
why
often.
we love to have you do this while you're in the hospital because it can, you know, otherwise it's like your phone and it's like, what is this
Yeah, I would freak out.
normal?
I would thought like this is a part I become my big thing.
I'm so stupid.
okay. So something we're probably not going to be watching is Lovecraft Country,
I love Isabel.
where they encounter vampires and all sorts of strange things.
Okay, so this is when it took the turn for the worse. So you're supposed to do 2 dilation. After the first dilation, you supposed to take a shower, which I did, felt nice, and come out, and then I needed to pee, and just getting ready for the second dilation. And when I went to pee, there was a lot of blood. Like, I feel like the first dilation kind of triggered everything. Apparently, what had happened is my surgeon told me I'm the second person that it happened to after 200 surgeries that I did. It's not common, but they nipped my urethra when they were putting everything back together. They nipped my urethra, which no one knew. When I pee, and after dilation and when I pee, it just releases it. So it's like in a cut like this, and that's where the blood coming out. So I was bleeding a lot. I was bleeding, and they told me to lay down. First of all, nobody knew what the hell was going on. The surgeons weren't there. I was dealt with by residents, whom these two residents that I met on the last day, not friendly, very dismissive, and they didn't know what was going on, what was the reason of blood. And then when I stood up again, they said just lay there for 20 minutes, maybe the bleeding would stop. Stood up again. The second I stood up, the amount of blood that was coming out of me was like you pouring a gallon of water. So I started freaking out, and they make me lay down right away. My friend Isabel was there. The nurse who taught me how to dilate was there. She was great. The two residents was there, and another floor nurse was there. So in total, there's 5 people there and me. They laid me down, and the next thing I know, since they laid me down, the blood couldn't come out. It started to fill up my stomach. And they brought in a pen underneath, and they just slide it underneath me, and they tell me to pee. First of all, I just learned how to pee a day ago. And I couldn't even pee sitting down the correct way or standing up. What makes you think I'm gonna pee when I'm laying down like this? So they said, just pee, you have to let the blood out. So I used all my strength. I was holding on to things. I just pushed as hard as I can to pee out. And when she brought the pen away from me, underneath me, the amount of blood that I saw in there freaked me out, and I almost passed out at that point. They said they have to recatheterize me. And I told them right away, I said, okay, before you do anything, I have 2 IVs right here, pump in some painkiller, pump in something to ease me. There's no way that they removed the catheter the day before, removed the dressing this morning. I dilated an hour ago with all the blood coming out. Now you're gonna physically recatheterize me when I'm awake. There's no way you can do that to me. No one was listening. The next thing I know, they pinned me down onto the bed when I was awake, screaming on the top of my lungs, saying, please don't do this. No one was listening. Talking about it is like so triggering. That's why I waited this long to do this video. They weren't listening. She started pushing things in, plugging things in. I cry, I scream on top of my lungs, like for help. It took 20 minutes. I didn't feel like I was being handled as a person, as a human being. I wasn't listened to. They treated me like a test subject at this point. I was just exhausted from screaming, from crying. And I remember the nurse run in and gave me 2 painkillers at that point. And I was just like, couldn't even drink it because they have to like physically help me. And guess what? 5 minutes later, they came in and said, bring her down to the surgery room. I know that their goals were to help me, but the way I was being handled, it was unethical. Everybody was freaking out. The last thing I said to my friend Isabel was, please don't tell my boyfriend what just happened. And I may have promised it. They started bringing me down to the surgery room. I remember every 5 seconds the nurse had like kind of slapped my face a little bit and be like, wake up, wake up. I was brought back into the surgery room again, and I felt cold. The whole thing was very, very traumatizing. Even though I told my friend not to tell my boyfriend, the hospital contacted him. I understand now at this point how that must have felt like. I was telling my friend to conceal something so important and dramatic that happened to me, and now he has to hear from the doctor. And they basically just called him and said, listen, complication happened. She lost a lot of blood, and you know, she's stable now. I know my intention was good, but like, I can't imagine for my boyfriend to hear that, you know, and he was already dealing with a lot. So it was hard. He came in, I think he slept there 2 days with me, and I was out for 2 days. I wasn't awake at all. I was just like sleeping, like straight. I was not waking up or anything. It's not something that happened often in this hospital, apparently. I'm the second person it happened to. But you know, the amount of like people running around like the head cuts off and didn't know what to do, didn't know what happened to me, and handle me the way they did. It's still traumatizing for me. I had many sleepless nights when I wake up and I felt like people were pinning me onto the bed. I still do once in a while. My physical therapist told me that my body is fine, it's healing right, but there's a blockage in my mental state that stopped me from doing everything right physically. I know I waited so long, but I'm finally gonna see a therapist to talk about this.
So today was Vikki.
Isabel was the sweetheart. I think I told her to record this.
We got here, the day started about 7:30, maybe a little bit earlier for Vikki, because she's had her vitals taken on a regular basis. Before I got here at 7:30, they'd already taken her gauze dressings out. And today was going to be the day to educate on dilating and just other basic functionality. So we had a good start to the day. Dilation went really well, and then about an hour after dilation, Vikki tried to urinate and there was a lot of blood. So Vikki's going to be staying in the hospital for another night. They've decided that she needs a little more attention and care, so they've had to actually recatheterize her and repack her. In a little while, they're probably going to give her a blood transfusion because she did lose some blood, and so it's making her feel weak. She's been such a trooper and showed a lot of courage and a lot of grace under a lot of distress. It was really amazing to be here and to be with her.
I feel like I'm reliving it.
Now she's resting.
So yeah, that's me for like 2 days. As you see, like from the beginning to now, within those couple of days, I lost so much weight. You can see in my face, and yeah, I remember what they did also is like one day they came in, and when they started the blood transfusion is they let you know right ahead if you started feeling itchy, back pain, which I already felt, or when you started hallucinating, you have to let them know. So after like a couple minutes of like blood transfusion, I started seeing a lot of things. I saw my nephew when he was young, when I was taking care of him, laying next to me, and just, yeah, you know, I saw like my whole life like kind of flashes before my eyes. So I saw a vision of myself was like running, like somebody was taking my nephew away, and I was running towards him. And yeah, that's when I told them that I was seeing stuff, and the next thing I know, there's like 10 doctors standing around me one was like screaming at my face, trying to wake me up. It was difficult. I thought this wouldn't happen. I was kind of expecting it, but I thought it wouldn't happen because it's almost a year now. But turned out, you know, I need a lot of help, and I still think that I do. Especially unpacking this emotionally, it's very hard for me because everything is triggering, and yeah, it's hard. I was there with a bunch of freaking strangers. It just like, I had moments when I thought about it, I was like, oh my god, if I was like gone for good there, I was like around people that I don't even know. But whatever. Okay. Alright, let's continue. I can't cry anymore about this.
Excited to see hospital food. I'm so hungry.
So day 6 was when I was supposed to get discharged. This is day 9. So 3 days after it, I was kind of regaining my consciousness and strength.
Let's see what I got. Today I'm getting myself a turkey cheese sandwich.
Which was great.
I got some chicken noodle soup. Fruit, because always. I got cranberry juice. I got some strawberry yogurt. I got hot chocolate and then a mac and cheese. I can't wait to eat. I'm exhausted. Today is a long day, long morning. Now I'm gonna eat.
So the 6 days that happened, I didn't dilate and I was out for 3 days. So this is day 9. In the morning, the surgeons came in and they told me I have to dilate. Otherwise, it's such a fresh wound since they removed the gouge and everything out already, the dressing. And I haven't dilated for 3 days. If I go on another day without dilation, it's gonna close. So that freaked me out. I'm like, I'm not gonna have a revision again. I'm not gonna go through this again. I have to. So they gave me the option to dilate with the smallest one. Dilated 4 times a day. Did it all by myself. My boyfriend was there.
So I just finished my last dilation for the day. All 4. First complete day of dilation. I'm gonna do that a lot more often. We're watching Romeo and Juliet because Isabel picked it.
Oh, Isabel was there, not my boyfriend, which bless her heart. Isabel has very cute taste in movie though. Lion King. I don't care what you guys said, I thought it was good. This part always makes me cry. Okay, so my boyfriend's there. I think this is like day 10. Him and my friend Isabel was switching shifts. After what happened to me, they came in, they wrote a big sign outside my door saying that no one gets to handle me unless it's a surgeon and my direct nurse. No more residents because what they put me through. I think they got reprimanded for it. They also sent in a physical therapist to help me walk. So I was in bed for like too long. They have to make me move around. It would help with everything. So my boyfriend's helping me walk around the entire floor. It was hard. Yeah. If you're gonna do it, make sure that you wear the socks that they give you so you're not gonna fall. And the catheter is still there. couldn't stand up. The second I needed to stand up, I needed to use the bathroom. Yeah. We walked the entire floor. The nurses, I remember the two of them were sitting there and they were there with me throughout the whole thing. They like stood up and clapped. It was like, we're so happy to see you moving around. It was exhausting.
Finally.
Second attempt of discharge.
I'm getting discharged today and I'm waiting for my wheelchair because I can't walk down. They ordered a wheelchair for me.
Yeah, they did.
I can't even really sit straight. But I'm excited to be home. I'm excited to go home. I'm excited for that. I'm just so exhausted. I'm gonna miss this beautiful view. But I'm going home.
I was determined to go home.
Right, Izzy?
Yes, it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. Izzy has been amazing. Izzy and my boyfriend, the two of them, have helped me out so much, and they have endured so much verbal abuse.
Which I feel so bad for. But when you're in so much pain and then they don't do it right or something to help you, you're just like lash out. But they were so understanding. I have a bad mouth when I'm in pain.
I never got those.
So this is what we want you to sit.
Yeah, the ride home was really, really bad. I, as you see, I couldn't sit up. I was laying like that the whole time. And every bump that the car hits, I just felt like I was gonna die. But I was very excited to go home. Well, that's it, guys. I didn't expect myself to cry again, but I guess I did. That is my SRS journey. First time I'm watching it again, it was not easy to stomach. It was not easy to look at. It was not easy to take. I'm glad I did. It's a great way of celebrating 11 months post-op. As you see, I'm so much better, but still a long way ahead. I hope this is the last time I have to watch this video. Thank you so much. I mean, I couldn't have been here without all of your support and all of your comments and positivity. It means so much to me to have an audience like you guys, a family that we built, a community that we built together. As I'm reaching my 1 year mark, there will be less SRS related topics video. As much as I want to show this part of me, I don't want it to be the only thing that defines who I am. In the future, we are gonna do a lot more things. You know, more styling video, makeup videos, vlogging, all of that, and of course, trends topics. If you love this video, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys turn on the bell notification so you can see my videos that it come out weekly. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.